Chapter 41. Fourth Evolution 1. Fourth Evolution 1. Unlike on the first floor of the Jinma Tower, I didn't encounter A upon entering the second floor. Maybe he was still on the ground floor. Maybe he's here but is hiding his presence. What greeted me instead was a poison scorpion, bigger than a giant spider, faster and stronger than a giant wolf. What's more, it had a terrifying venom. Ki-I-I-I. It was at that moment that I realized that I would not just be facing a troll, like on the first floor. The scorpion was another intermediate monster, but it seemed to move on a different level from the troll. Well, they are different creatures on different floors. Stop thinking about them. The longer I stay in place, the more vulnerable I get. The sound of the scorpion approaching gets louder every instant. I'm going to kill it. It's a monster with a level that's at least similar to the troll or maybe stronger. But if its attack power is strong, its regeneration would be weak. If its defense power is strong, its speed would be slow. I can defeat it. Kaya! I sensed the giant tail of the scorpion stretching out, possibly overflowing with vicious venom. It is impossible to visually confirm it because of the darkness, but I can grasp the power coming at me. I flew away from it. I did not have surprise and fairy tale raised yet. With the body of the hobgoblin assaulter, I am confident that I could beat it quickly. I can match its power and speed. If a single strike won't work, I can keep attacking the same spot over and over. No carapace would be too hard against consistent heavy damage. But if I kill him now, I'll turn into a hobgoblin afterwards. Once I become a hobgoblin, the speed and distance I can create will be significantly limited, and it would become more difficult to analyze the movement and skill of this new monster. It would be easier to kill him with my lower forms if I understand him better. I won't have to die thousands or tens of thousands of times in my goblin body. I've already experienced Jinma Tower. Now, I had to draw everything that could be derived from that experience. Even though time flows slowly here, I won't waste time dying repeatedly. Ki-I-E. Yeah. Come closer. And let me study you closer. I rushed at him. The scorpion greeted me with an attack I've already anticipated. A smack from its giant tail. Kia! However, instinctively, I jumped in the air to avoid it. Fear. Fear of degeneration. Fear of facing a high-level opponent. Fear of experiencing multiple deaths once more. All the emotions I felt were mixed together, amplified by the ebon heart. Gradually, they changed to joy and excitement. How fun would it be to overcome all the enemies, the moment of breaking my limit? How thrilling would it be to predate their meat? I didn't know if it began the moment I became a goblin, or if it was a desire hidden beneath my humanity. However, I find killing a troublesome opponent and tearing their meat off pleasurable. I will not go against it. It was a good urge. It was the urge that could lead me to survive and get stronger. Following that impulse, I moved my body. Somehow, the poison scorpion felt a little smaller, unlike when I first felt its presence, but I didn't care. There was no time to care. Time passed. It was 2 hours from the outside time. I heard the gears of the pocket watch click twice. Inside the Jinma Tower, it felt like 2 weeks. The poison scorpion in front of my goblin form was helpless inside a deep and narrow trap I've created. My power and my skill levels have been raised so far that my goblin fighter form can destroy an intermediate monster without a trap, but it was still too much for a goblin form. Of course, it was as I expected from the beginning. Ki. Who? No matter how much my skill level has risen, it was impossible to kill an intermediate monster in my lowest form with 1 or 2 strikes. There was an absolute difference in physical ability. The difference cannot be filled by any skill. So, did my growth from level 50 to level 58 proved meaningless? No. The trap creation skill grew little by little, and as it did, the amount of time spent in making traps and the strength of the traps was worth the multiple deaths I suffered in the poison scorpion's tail and claws. Finally, the skill reached LV9. The poison scorpion is now helpless against my skill. The poison scorpion was whimpering. When it was stronger than my goblin form, I could never have imagined it making this sound, but now its voice was tender, as if it was begging for its life. When I first met him, it felt massive. Now, even in my goblin form, I don't even worry about the size of its claws. Okay, it was really obvious now. Intermediate monsters are only intermediate after all. There were more higher-level monsters above them. It won't be monsters alone that I have to worry about. Humans. Humans who were born in advantaged families, who grew up without hardship, and were trained under powerful mentors. I would have to face them. They would see me as a monster and hunt me down. Honestly, I don't want to face them until I have evolved in the next form. I don't have time to waste. I have to grow. Intermediate, advanced, superlative, and beyond. Kill more. Eat more. I approached the whimpering poison scorpion, helpless inside a trap made especially for him, to hold his legs and claws down. He was pleading for mercy. It was pitiful. He went from being a predator to being prey. Of course, I don't care about my prey's feelings. I will enjoy this food. I bit his hard claws and tasted poison. Of course, I was expecting it. Lower poison creation skill has become LV7. Lower regeneration has become LV9. My predation skill ignores my target's toxicity, and my immunity and regeneration skills prevent me from being vulnerable to poison. The moment it reached LV5, regeneration started being able to recover from poison damage. The poison creation skill also improves every time I ingest or use poison. This combo allowed me to grow poison regeneration and poison generation skills at a tremendous rate while eating poison scorpions. Immunity's growth was a bit slower since it was already on the intermediate level. It was also possible that predation is also growing. Because I have consumed a lot since the last level up, it may be growing without me noticing. Key. Go on, struggle as much as you can, if you can. I continued eating the still-alive poison scorpion while notification windows popped up continuously until they finally announced that my regeneration and poison creation reached intermediate level. Finally, the phrase, "Conquering the first floor of Jinma Tower 2 out of 10" appeared. Soon, the familiar pain hit me, the process of a degenerated body returning to its original form. Swelling muscles, stronger blood pumping, thickening skin. Bones hardening and thickening. While observing the phenomenon, a strange thought came into me. It was as if I was looking at someone else's body. The strange thought passed by quickly. It was not the time to think about it. I looked around. I am not sure where A is, so I spoke with a loud voice. Continue to challenge, until I conquer all 10 floors. Time passed by quickly, as opponents fell down one by one. Skeleton knights, hornet princes, minotaurs, as well as 7 other monsters. Q-woo! Damn you! The spider, whose web contained the power of electricity, was the most difficult among the intermediate monsters I have faced. I was somehow able to defeat it in my goblin fighter form, but from the moment I became a goblin, I kept dying even after only touching its web. It was hard to build a trap. What's more, the spider crawled all over the walls, avoiding the traps I made on the ground. My trap creation skill, despite reaching the intermediate LV5, has met its match. I can only make a trap on the ground where I am stepping on. Unless the enemy is a fool like a troll, they usually don't stay in one place. That is why I need to attack the enemies to lure them into the traps. Until now, it wasn't very difficult, but the spider was a smart opponent. It's a fairly good skill, but it had its disadvantages. A lot of research will be needed so I can use this skill better in the future. After the pocket watch clicked to signify 4 hours, a goblin succeeded in inserting a sword into a lightning spider's neck. It had been difficult, but the reward was worth it. It's delicious. As I chewed on the lightning spider, a reminder suddenly flashed in front of my eyes. Conquering the first floor of Jinma Tower 9 out of 10. Lower spider web creation has become LV10 and evolves to intermediate spider web creation. It becomes possible to apply mana and skills onto the webs you produce. Only, congratulations! Satisfied the conditions for synthesizing an advanced level skill. Possible to synthesize the advanced skill, Lunatic Trickster. Requirements: 1 intermediate LV5 or higher special combat system skill, trap creation. 2 intermediate level or higher special combat subskill, poison creation, spider web creation. 1 lower LV5 or higher special attack skill, power attack, Power arrow. Possess 2 or more lower-level magic skills. Black lightning, flame magic. Possess 2 or more battle assist skills. Intermediate leap, intermediate beast charge. That moment, the annoyance I had with the lightning spider disappeared. I smiled. It seems that the 10th opponent I need to defeat inside the Jinma Tower will be easier to catch. Chapter 42. Fourth Evolution, 2. Fourth Evolution, 2. Are you sure you want to synthesize for the lunatic trickster skill? In that case, the following skills will disappear. Trap creation, poison creation, spider web creation. Choose one. Power attack or power arrow. The skill is strengthened by the effects of magic skills and combat support skills. Yes. No. It was clear that the lunatic trickster skill is similar to that of trap creation. Spider web creation is just a lump of unnecessary luggage, so this is the perfect time to get rid of it. The same goes for poison creation, which I have never even used yet. It would be a huge blow, however, if I lose power attack, but fortunately, I have another option. I chose to use power arrow for the synthesis. It was completed immediately. Trap creation, poison creation, spider web creation, and power arrow have been synthesized. You acquired the intermediate lunatic trickster skill LV1. 1. Consumes time, mana, stamina, weapons, equipment, and other materials to create a desired type of trap in the desired location, within sight. The size, strength, and duration of the trap depend on the type and amount of materials used. 2. Other skills can be applied through lunatic trickster. Amplify specific elements of skill or add new elements. This is done randomly and will consume one skill level in exchange for skill improvement. As if it wasn't a good skill already, the lunatic trickster had 2 abilities. The first one was what I expected, a better version of trap creation. The second ability made me worry, however. I don't like to depend on random luck. I cannot risk my life on chance. Of course, it's a skill that improves a skill for the price of 1 skill level. However, the scope of the improvement it can offer is unknown, so it had a gambling-like factor. What's more, it comes with a heavy price. But it's a good option to have. Every ability has its own purpose. The second ability of the lunatic trickster will definitely prove useful sometime. I closed the notification window. Suddenly, I immediately noticed his presence and looked at his direction. I didn't comment on my polished sense of detection, and instead said something. Last one left. I know. Would you like to challenge right away? I looked down on my body. It was still in goblin form. Usually, after I finished eating the last opponent, I go back to a hobgoblin assaulter form. Yes, but my body. The 10th conquest of the first floor of Jinma Tower begins. Damn it. Unlike Rain, who was too kind, I was annoying and unhelpful. Having said those words, he disappeared again. I ground my teeth. He really started the 10th conquest just like that. Damn. However, I felt nothing. No, I felt like I was nothing. I tried to move my head, but I can't. I tried to feel the ground with my feet, but I can't. I had a dagger in my hand. There was nothing in my hand. I had no hands, no feet, body, head. There was nothing left at all. Even the ebon heart was gone. No heart to pump blood. No lungs to breathe. I can't breathe. No, I don't need to breathe. Fear overwhelmed me. I am nothing. I can't feel myself in this space. Is this space even real? If I am not here, does this space exist? If the space is real, then why am I not conscious of the things within it, even my own body? Am I gone? Did the goblin form disappear completely, and only my consciousness remained? Then will my consciousness disappear soon, too? A terrible horror swallowed me, and I swam desperately in it. I exist. I exist. This was supposed to be a safe training center. There should be no loss of life. This shouldn't happen. I can't disappear. I have to survive. I can't disappear without a trace in this place. I exist. My soul and my body are definitely here. At that moment, it was as if time reversed. I thought back. I recalled the moment I killed the poison scorpion. What did you think then? Think. I recalled. It was a question that passed my mind. There is a boundary between the soul and the flesh. Is it possible to degenerate even further, leaving only the existence? Will that be against the laws of this place? It was a simple moment of wondering about what is said. He said that this place is where all the trajectories I've passed through will merge into one. But can I degenerate to the point of non-existence? Of course, everything that happened in Jinma Tower was mysterious, and I wouldn't be able to comprehend them all with my own knowledge. But I have to try to find out how it worked, so I can escape this phase. What is common in degeneration? Realization. The level and skills remain the same. From beginning to end, my skill and my level remain the same. Even if the body has degenerated, those were maintained. I took it for granted. I did not question the deterioration of my body in the past. I accepted it as the truth, and it became my reality. I really degenerated to a hobgoblin and below, even if it wasn't physically possible. But how could the level and the skills remain the same? What if degeneration was just my illusion? What if I was a hobgoblin assaulter all this time? Someone told me that I would degenerate into a hobgoblin, and I believed it. Was I the one putting limits on my own self? That can only be the explanation of the degeneration phenomenon. If a hobgoblin assaulter thinks that he is a goblin, it was possible to erase his existence. The moment I realized it, the ebon heart jumped. At the moment of my extreme fear, I didn't recognize its presence. But it was there from the beginning. Thump, thump. The small beat gradually went harder, louder, more powerful. Veins and blood vessels spread in all directions from the source of the heartbeats. Flesh and bones begin to form. Blood filled the vessels. Mana flowed through them. The exposed flesh grew skin, and my armor covered it once more. I recognized blood shadow on my hand. As I swung it, a smooth, red shadow traced the air. I was convinced. I turned back into a hobgoblin assaulter by affirming my existence. By reaching the present and accepting what I am. I was a hobgoblin assaulter all this time, not a goblin. I have never been weakened. Only my heart was weakened. No one else aside from myself can make me weaker. No one can touch my soul. I realized the absolute proposition. Predation became LV4. The efficiency of absorbing the abilities of the prey increases. Able to absorb even lower-level skills. Intermediate martial arts has become LV8. Intermediate detection has become LV9. Lower fairy tale has become LV10 and evolves into intermediate fairy tale. You can project an illusion of yourself within the range of your sight. With my enlightenment, my skills grew. All of them pleased me, but none pleased me more than completely finishing the 10th conquest of Jinma Tower. It was what the tower is for. I can battle monsters in dungeons, too, but in this place I could get enlightenment. I had to look at myself not just as a monster. I should have known myself better. Took me a long time to learn it. The darkness that covered my eyes lifted along with my delusions, and I finally looked at A's surprised face, which was just in front of me. Conquering the first floor of Jinma Tower 10 out of 10. Quest completed. You gained 1,200,000 experience. You acquired 100 gold. Level up. You acquired 5 intermediate horsepower potions. Obtained 10 demon hooks. Evolution is possible. That was fast. I was a middle-aged man with a handsome face. I shook my head. No, it was late. And it's not over yet. Not yet? Perhaps. I triggered the lunatic trickster. I didn't plan on using it, but now was the best time to use it. Choose a skill to manifest with lunatic trickster. I chose detection and martial arts. The purpose? It is simple. To find the monster that had played with me like a toy and cut it down. Something is definitely in this place, other than A and I. The one who induced the delusions. The one who covered me in darkness. I shook his head. Impossible. The trickster is an advanced monster. I laughed. It's funny that the monster's name and the skill I'll use to finish it were the same. It's an interesting name, I told her. Detection skill level is reduced by 1 level. Sensing power is amplified infinitely. Martial arts skill level is reduced by 1 level. Added an element that can draw tomorrow's energy and use it for today. Even when my 5 senses were free, the trickster that I mentioned was not revealed to me. From the moment I set foot in this place, it had been cheating and playing with me. It was impossible to capture it with my intermediate detection. But now, with the help of lunatic trickster, I jumped and used all the weapons in my inventory to create a spider web trap. I cast it up the air like a wide net to catch everything that could be floating in there. I seemed to have caught nothing, but I didn't care. I knew different. Black lightning, blood sword, and power attack, amplified with all the energy I could have tomorrow, covered my sword, and I swung it mightily towards the trap. Kayap! King! The impact was audible. The attack hit something. You gained 1,580,000 experience points. Experience limit due to race restrictions. The experience will be applied to the next form. You acquired 180 gold. Intermediate martial arts has become LV9. Intermediate detection has become LV10 and evolves to advanced detection. The range of detection is significantly widened, and the enemy's weaknesses can be identified. Reading emotions of items that are lower than the detection skill level become possible. Lower power attack has become LV10 and evolves to the intermediate power attack. When you inflict magic on a power attack, its attack power is amplified. You can consume mana to instantly increase the range of your weapon. I landed lightly on the floor, clutching a bat-like trickster's body. It was too small and shabby compared to its massive ability. Only, I looked back at A's astonished expression. What is impossible? Damn, Rain! I muttered. I chewed on the trickster's body, pleased at the reminder that popped up. Magic has risen by 10. You acquired the beginner fantasy magic skill LV1. It wasn't over. I still have one thing left to do. Evolution is possible. Chapter 43, Fourth Evolution, 3. Fourth Evolution, 3. Choose a race to evolve. 1. Hobgoblin Massacre. 2. Hobgoblin Warlock. 3. Troll. 4. Werewolf. 5. Bugbear. The first two were out of the question. I felt like I've already reached the limit of the species, and I would not choose those even though they have great titles. The next two were what I already knew. The first conquest on the first floor of Jinma Tower, and the lower species in the Black Palace 2F. They have strong defenses in common. The troll has strength. The werewolf has speed. I didn't have enough time to appreciate the werewolf's speed since I finished them off too quickly. I was unfamiliar with the last option. I summoned its description. Bugbear, a race of assassins that is more familiar with darkness than light. These monsters are tall enough to resemble trolls, but their footsteps are hard to detect even for intermediate monsters. They are strong enough to break a troll's neck with one arm, fast enough to catch a running werewolf, possesses covert movements and magical powers. Among intermediate monsters, this monster is in the top predator position. It is said that higher-level bugbears can also threaten advanced species. I knew it. As always, the last option was the best. Bugbear. Some call it the boogeyman. In a sense, he was an evil fairy. I've reached an unbelievable level. But this is the reality. I can be an intermediate monster. It was still far from being a human, but I didn't worry about it anymore. I was sure now that I could one day reach the point I wanted. As long as I keep going, keep getting stronger one day, surely. I carefully reviewed the descriptions for the troll and the werewolf and pondered about the advanced regeneration skills that only they had. However, after careful consideration, I chose Bugbear with confidence. The change was so sudden and intense. The arms and legs, the head was crushed, and the bones of the whole body crumbled. All muscles were crushed, blood evaporated, and skin tore. Only the ebon heart remained, beating vigorously. The pain was incomparable to the pain of the previous evolutions. There is an incomparable difference between the lowest to the lower level, and the lower level to the intermediate level. Intermediate regeneration has become LV2. Intermediate immunity has become LV6. This was not evolution. It was more about the destruction and recreation. The useless body of a lower monster is reduced to mana, and only the core, the ebon heart, remains and thumps in the air. It used not just the mana that made up my body. The ebon heart also sucked the mana overflowing in the Jinma Tower. I was abandoning the flesh of the lower-level monster now and was being reborn in the world as an intermediate-level monster. Stronger blood vessels, nerves, muscles, blood, bones, flesh, skin, and mana built me? Around the heart. Intermediate regeneration has become LV3. The change is over. I opened my eyes and realized that my point of view was quite different. I felt huge black feet hit the floor. Each foot seemed to be over 50 centimeters in length. My own feet. I felt an overwhelming power staying inside my body. It was an unparalleled force compared to when I was a hobgoblin assault. Moreover, even if I had a huge body, it felt light. It seemed to me that I could run wherever I wanted effortlessly. Bugbear, I heard a mutter. What? I asked him. He did not answer. I wasn't disappointed because I didn't expect an answer. Rather, I was testing my own voice. Came out thicker and lower than I expected. I ignored A, who was no longer speaking, and moved around to check my body. I realized I made the right choice. Strong, fast, huge, quiet. Now, I have all the elements necessary for a creature to be considered strong. I am at a new starting point. No longer a weak creature who has to struggle to survive, but a strong monster who can hunt, predate, and get even stronger. You became a bugbear. Intermediate martial arts has become LV10 and evolves into advanced martial arts. You can deal more power with less stamina. You can learn attack skills after seeing it several times. It becomes easy to master all the skills related to combat. You will be able to bring your weapon's power beyond its limits. However, at this time, the weapon's durability will be affected. Intermediate surprise has become LV10 and evolves into advanced surprise. You will not be detected even if you're running with mana. Attacking an enemy's weak spot can provide critical damage. Intermediate power attack. Level up. Level up. Level up. It seemed that almost all the skills I had have grown. I felt dizzy watching all the notification windows at once, and I waved my hands to remove them. After a while, I checked my status. Kong Siha, Fate. Bugbear LV63. Strength, 500 stamina, 417 magic, 297 luck. Skill Ebon Heart, Predation LV4, Advanced Martial Arts LV1, Intermediate Lunatic Trickster LV2, Intermediate Armor Defense LV3, Intermediate Regeneration LV5, Intermediate Flame Magic LV1, Intermediate Power Attack LV2, Intermediate Leap LV9, Advanced Detection LV2, Advanced Surprise LV2, Intermediate Fairy Tale LV2, Intermediate Beast Charge LV5, Intermediate Leadership LV6, Intermediate Immunity LV7, Beginner Fantasy Magic LV6. Ha! I can't help but laugh. Killing the trickster increased my level by 3, my strength and mana increased by 120, and my stamina also increased by 60. I couldn't help thinking about killing more intermediate monsters from now. The skill changes were overwhelming. Almost all skills have grown one level of more. Since the training has been hard, the fruit has been sweet. There were 3 advanced skills that I didn't have before entering the Jinma Tower. With my goblin's body, I have beaten a troll, a giant wolf, a lightning spider. But I am not confident I could beat my current form now. Strong. I am much stronger. There is no time to rest, I said. I responded. Fate is still weak. I know. I threw cold water at my excitement. But that helped me. Instead of being trapped in my fantasy, he brought me back to reality. It's annoying, but his words are true. I am still weak. Who is right in front of my eyes right now is stronger. But even A is not the strongest in this world. There is no time to settle on my achievements. I almost forgot where I was. I almost forgot there was still much left to go. It is not time to rest. Not yet. Thank you, A. He didn't answer. A reminder soon popped up in front of my eyes. Quest generated. You have taken the first step as a predator. However, there are many monsters, humans, and others that are stronger than you. In order to be a true predator, you must get stronger faster. More experiences will make you stronger. Predation after hunting regular monsters in Black Palace 3F0/100 000. Predation after hunting upper species of Black Palace 3F0/20 000. Prey after hunting for the rare upper species of Black Palace 3F0/500. Predation after hunting Power Reaper 0 out of 1. Conquering the second floor of Jinma Tower 0 to 1. Winning the first game of the Fallen Garden 0/1. When I entered the second floor of the Black Palace, the quest notification window was generous in describing the spiders and the werewolves. Now, it simply called them regular monsters, upper species, and rare species. What does that mean? Of course, this would mean that there were more types of monsters appearing on 3F than on 2F. Their strengths were classified into 3: regular, upper level, and rare level. Lastly, the Power Reaper would be the one inside the 3F boss room. There are 2 remaining questions. The first floor of Jinma Tower needs to be completed 10 times, so why does the second floor need only once? And what is the Fallen Garden? You need to get out. I didn't want to hear my question. You're not qualified yet to challenge the second floor. Wait, why does the second floor only need to get completed once? And what is the Fallen Garden? You do not qualify. Shoo! With his words, he kicked me out of the tower. I found myself back at the 2F boss room. The only thing in front of me was the dark passage. I don't qualify. I grind my teeth with anger at A, who kicked me out without answering. Then, I raised my head and looked beyond the dark passageway. Unlike the Jinma Tower, that darkness was truly another level. The passage will take me to 3F. Then I should get in. If I get to the dedicated store right now, I may hear from Rain about the Fallen Garden. He would surely give me more information. Rain is kind, excessively so. He makes me comfortable. He always takes care of me and gives me extras. But A's chilly attitude made me think about Rain. What if Rain disappears someday? Right now, I can use his dedicated store, but who can I depend on in case he disappeared? If I depend too much on Rain, the blow I will take when he is gone will be beyond imagination. To survive alone, don't rely on someone else. Only, it is pathetic to keep running to Rain whenever faced by something difficult. I have to be able to solve things by myself. After all, it is I who had to survive and get stronger. With predation and the ebon heart, I moved my body to the sound of my beating heart. To become stronger, to become a predator, to qualify. I flew into the dark passage. Chapter 44. Monster Heart 1. Monster Heart 1. Didn't the description say that the Bugbear was an assassin? It was a race clearly stronger than a troll or a werewolf. Obviously, I would have satisfied the condition of evolving into a Bugbear with the growth of my skills such as surprise, fairy tale, and martial arts. The 3 of them were special. Or the new skill, the lunatic trickster, also had an impact. Anyway, I qualified to evolve into a Bugbear by demonstrating my own abilities, and as a result, my surprise ability was further strengthened. A surprise attack is divided into 2 processes: to move to the target without being noticed, and to attack the enemy's weak spot with maximum power. Although I could only test the first one in this dark passageway, I was satisfied with it already. The passageway was high enough for someone over 2 meters to run in. Darkness is now familiar. It seems that this empty space is gradually melting into me. No, on the contrary, I am melting into the darkness. I am changing to cover myself with it and be free to act while being hidden. In the process, my surprise and fairy tale skills grew steeply. Advanced surprise has become LV2. Intermediate fairy tale became LV4. Lower level skills grow slower than beginner skills. Intermediate skills grow even slower. When it comes to the advanced level, raising even one skill level is too hard. As proof, the martial arts and detection that grew to advanced skills are now at the state where I wonder if they are still rising at all. Advanced surprise has become LV3. But surprise and fairy tale were different. Obviously, it may be because they are in a conducive environment. They are growing faster than other skills. Advanced surprise has become LV4. Intermediate fairy tale became LV5. I stacked food supplies on the 3rd floor. Of course, from the moment I entered 3F, I encountered all kinds of intermediate monsters, but they were no match for me anymore. Surprise attacks allow me to hit them critically. No matter how many they are, it didn't matter. Against intermediate monsters, I was an absolute predator with my advanced level surprise and martial arts skills. My enemy is no longer the dungeon. The real struggle was taking place within me. Advanced surprise has become LV6. At one point, another group of humans entered the second floor. I detected their faint presence because I was still near the passage entrance. Intermediate fairy tale has become LV8. Advanced surprise has become LV7. But I didn't care. In order for them to reach me, they will have to defeat the 2F boss Werewolf King that has already respawned. My advanced detection tells me that they have never been able to get through the boss room. However, as time went by, more and more people entered the second floor. They were separated by batches, but they certainly belonged to one group with the same purpose. If the group had more than 100 humans hostile to me, I could be at risk. I should at least be aware of their purpose so I can be comfortable. It's a pity that I haven't raised my surprise skills to the level I want before I face them, but I can't wait anymore. I went quickly to the 2F. I followed them at a distance where I could hear their voices. Information will be gotten quickly. Any group will have humans with runny mouths. They don't even care about the monsters that could be listening to them from a distance. These are lower-level monsters? We only found goblins on the first floor. Isn't this dungeon dangerous if the levels of the monsters change immediately? The second floor may not even be the last. So, the guild master has this on his eyes right now. It's the least risky dungeon. I'm glad our guild called us first. Why? Wouldn't it be better if someone cleared it for us before we were called? You idiot! Don't you know about the blessing of the first conqueror? First conqueror. First conqueror. So, the first one who conquers a dungeon gets something special? Something came to mind, the Pelcadia's jewel. The Goblin King with a Pelcadia jeweled sword. The Werewolf King, who was killed by me with one shot, never had the chance to use the Pelcadia necklace. However, the new Goblin King and Werewolf King were significantly weaker than the first ones. It was not comparable. So far, I just thought it was because they didn't have Pelcadia gems. But now it is clear. First conqueror, that was it. It was more difficult to beat them, but I received special rewards because I was the first one. I was definitely the first conqueror of 1F and 2F in this dungeon. Piuka Jia's Jing. Obviously, it will not be different in 3F. My fighting spirit rose. The idea that I couldn't be left behind by others dominated my mind. First conqueror. I will be not only the 1F and the 2F first conqueror, but the first conqueror of the deepest part of this dungeon, however deep it is. However, there are issues that need to be addressed before that. You fucking motherfucker. It's going to be sore. But we haven't learned the secret of this dungeon because they have been chasing him? My cousin is dead on his claws, fuck. Sorry. These guys are now chasing someone. If they get into 3F through their chase, it would be annoying. I was also worried about who these guys were chasing. Damn it. If I see him, I will surely smash him. There were 5 here, they said. They are definitely attempting to endanger our guild. The fact that the fallen are forming a group. Yes, the ones they are chasing are fallen. It was not difficult to draw a picture with the information they have said. Judging by their words, their guilds were here to hunt down the fallen. However, there were more of them than they have heard from informants, and 1 or more of their guildmates died during the hunting process. One of the fallen survived and fled. He fled into this dungeon and ended up on the 2F. The guild members entered the second floor chasing him. It's a ridiculous story. So, information on the fallen was being traded. The guild knew that they were once humans, but they pulled out their swords to hunt them. Now, one of them was killed, and they have a grudge against the fallen they were chasing. Humans will get gold, experience, and items when killing fallen. Are we supposed to die silently without resisting them? It was an arrogant standard. My ebon heart was thumping. Arrogant people who don't fit my standard. Those who pretend to be gods, who looked at the fallen as ants on the ground. I boiled so much inside. I want to cut their necks, but I couldn't do it yet, because there are still important things to hear from them. There's a problem with them disguising their appearances. We really need proof of mine. It's terrible to find monsters hiding among humans. Yes, this is it. A fallen can conceal his identity, unless against proof of mine. Nevertheless, the fact that this group of fallen has concealed themselves until now must mean that they have a way to prevent the proof of mine. As a result, all the reasons to hesitate to take action are gone. I decided to find the fallen who has escaped them. It wasn't difficult. The 2F was like a playground for me. It took me 7 minutes and 38 seconds to find a blood-soaked werewolf. He was bleeding in the corner of a cave. There were 4 werewolf elites standing in front of him as if they were his escorts. Only, it was impressive. The wolves snarled as I unveiled myself before them. The man responded, "But how? These are intermediate monsters." "Then, I may also be an intermediate monster." I responded lightly, and he opened his eyes wide. Then he laughed a little. For the first time in my life, I encountered another fallen other than myself. Chapter 45. Monster Heart 2. Monster Heart 2. The boss on the second floor is werewolf. And what I'm facing right now is also a werewolf. It might be a coincidence, but it was an interesting coincidence. But unlike werewolf that I saw in the boss room, this one was severely hurt. First of all, there was a large penetrating wound on his abdomen, and he had wounds all over his shoulders, forearms, legs, feet, and head. Flesh, nerves, and bones were almost exposed. Blood was pouring from all of them. The only reason he's still alive was that he had the werewolf's incredible vitality. Grr! Grr! The wolves surrounding him were hostile to me, but he raised his hand weakly to order them to retreat. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "It depends on what you want." It was pretty blunt and idiotic, but he nodded as if he was satisfied with my answer. I want to live. And, for my friends who were killed and treated like monsters, revenge. What an amazing thing. As he spoke out with words of pain and anger, his ruined body seemed to recover more quickly. Has his regeneration skill improved? I can see that the size of his grave stomach wound shrinking in real time. What an amazing resilience. He also realized it. He smiled as he raised his hand, with its bones exposed, and watched it gradually get covered with muscles, flesh, and hair. Slowly, I am growing stronger. But you cannot survive alone. Yes, definitely not. He nodded. As the blood and phlegm in his throat were clearing, I could hear his voice more clearly. Because he has a wolf's head, it was difficult to estimate his exact age, but judging from his voice, he would not have been older than 20. He continued speaking. "I am alone while they are over 100. Moreover, as regeneration takes up my stamina, it would be hard to fight them back in my condition." "Stop talking." I cut him off. I could feel the presence of humans appear one by one 500 meters away. If we don't leave this place soon, we will be discovered. "I want to know more about the fallen," I told him. "I know about them. I want to hear how the world works now." "That's easy. If you can fulfill those 2 requests, I will save you." He considered for a moment, then he asked me, "You don't want the experience, money, and items you can get from me? Are you saying I should kill someone like me just because I could get the money?" He laughed at my words. "There are over 100 people out there who would love to do it." I smiled before I replied to him. "I don't consider them as people. He looked curious as I continued. "They are just monsters. Monsters with minds that are more hideous than our appearances." He was silent, full of emotions. Soon he looked up at me with his blue eyes. "It's a very nice way of thinking. I like it." "Okay. However, I can't easily trust someone I have just met." "Of course. It is a mindset that everyone must have in order to survive." It was really doubtful that someone would protect him from over 100 people in return for 2 simple conditions. Nevertheless, he shook his head and laughed. I laughed with him. "You are the only hope that I have left," he said. "So, all in. I'm going all in with you." "Good choice." I approached him with silent footsteps. The wolves snarled some more, but he stopped them. You can control wolves? I asked him. I can, up to 5 of them, but it won't last forever and it costs mana. So, send them back. Okay. He did something I didn't understand. The wolves suddenly looked blank. Then, each went their own way as if they didn't recognize our presence. It's done. Good. As I brought Blood Shadow to the floor, he saw that it sucked all his blood that had poured down on the ground. He laughed as he watched it. That's a nice sword. I lifted him up. He immediately realized what he was supposed to do now and clung as best as he could. After nodding to him, I moved forward, towards the dark passageway leading to the 3rd floor. With my advanced detection, I was sure that no human or monster would be on our way. I didn't know that it could do so before, but surprise and fairy tale seem to take effect on objects or people that I carry. I passed through the dark passage quickly. When we arrived at the aisle, his eyes widened. You have access to the entrance to the 3rd floor. Are you the first conqueror on the 2nd floor? Then, right? We stepped inside the 3F and was immediately overwhelmed by darkness. It was the first time that I came in with someone else. It's strange to feel another presence other than mine wandering in the nothingness. Oh, what? You? Are you there now? He may not be able to perceive my presence. I loosened surprise and fairy tale that I kept active as a habit. Can you detect my presence now? I asked him. Amazing. My detection ability is intermediate, but we're entering the 3rd floor, so we have to be careful. I'll catch an intermediate monster for you, so you can eat it to restore your health. The passage was long, but as I was already accustomed to it, I quickly passed through and reached the 3rd floor in just a few minutes. When I let him down on the ground, he stood on 2 feet, looked around with a look of amazement on his face, and took a deep breath. I really lived, he murmured. Barely, I replied bluntly, then threw Blood Shadow over to a spot. The sword flew with the power of advanced martial arts and black lightning, piercing the head of a huge vampire bat hanging upside down from the ceiling. Bloodbat, an intermediate monster, lost his life in 1 hit. It slumped to the floor with Blood Shadow stuck in its head. You gained 25,680 experience. You acquired 45 silver. I recovered Blood Shadow and threw the Bloodbat's body at the werewolf. These monsters' stealth ability is pretty good. If someone is not vigilant because they are just at the 3FS entrance, these bats will suck all his blood. Yes. This was, of course, intended to inform him of how dangerous 3F is. At the same time, however, I also intended to dispel any traitorous thoughts but showing him my force. Stealth to avoid monsters and humans. Power to kill intermediate monsters effortlessly. Whether he completely understood what I meant or not, he simply nodded carefully as he took the bloodbat. Then he asked me, "Are you really an intermediate monster? Or are you advanced?" Intermediate. Not yet. But it will not be soon. It must. As I turned to go back to the aisle, he urgently called me. I haven't heard your name yet. Iam Hanho. Li Chan Yu. No. I was about to respond with my name but caught myself. I considered whether to introduce myself as a monster or as Kong Si Ha. The conclusion came quickly. Call me Fate. Fate? Is that your alias? No. That's my name. Yes, okay. Pleasure to meet you, Fate. I tried not to display emotion as much as possible, but he seemed to have guessed how I felt. His answer was heavy and sincere. My heart felt heavy at that moment because, in one simple introduction, I felt like I had to choose between my past and my present. He had also thought about his past when he introduced himself. There was nothing different. It was not wrong. It was normal. In the end, we had a small yet weak connection. How did this happen? I shouldn't trust him yet. It felt good to be with someone who feels the same as you, but I shouldn't be swayed by it. Pleasure is all mine, Li Chan Yu. When I return, you can answer the 2 questions I asked you earlier. I'll tell you as much as I know. As I said before, I'm all in. I nodded. And, just in case, before I step on the aisle, I have to check one more thing. I looked back and asked him, "For your thirst for revenge to be satisfied, must it be done with your own hands?" If it's impossible for me, I can leave it to my friend, he answered. I'm not your friend yet, but I think we will be soon. Perhaps, since he has been with other fallen, he was comfortable with me. Should I feel the same, too? He has been saved from death, so he trusted me completely. He already sees me as a friend. He really meant what he said when he said that he is all in. But I do not trust feelings. It is easily betrayed. It hurts easily and changes easily. It is explosive and instantaneous. But in the end, it cannot be denied that it is the driving force that makes people move the most. Feats that weren't thought possible have been accomplished because of the power of emotion. Can we really be friends? Can I trust him and leave my back to him? Will the day come when we would fight together? No matter what, I can't simply trust someone I just met. But I wish I could, someday. I threw myself into the aisle without answering him, silencing the small and secret expectations in my head. I went all the way to the middle of the aisle and started training in surprise and fairy tale. While doing so, I tracked the movements of humans on the second floor. It wasn't long before the guild returned. We must find him. I'm going to see with my own eyes that his neck is cut off. It's difficult. First of all, he was able to hide his identity as a fallen. Damn. Did he become the first conqueror of the second floor? Where did he get the key to break through the second floor? Lee Chanyu got the key from the first floor boss room, quickly broke through the Goblin King, and hid in the second floor. However, he didn't have the power to overcome the mass appearance on the second floor, and he almost died. It was then that I found him. So, there is still a werewolf king in the boss room of the second floor. If the guild overcomes the mass appearances over and over again, they will realize the situation. Eventually, the time came. Took only a few hours. It's impossible. He's on the third floor. First, let's get the key to the boss room. Let's search thoroughly. No one can get out of this dungeon until we catch him. Took them a few more days. I watched them while I trained and helped Lee Chanyu recover. Soon, Lee Chanyu was able to hunt on the third floor by himself. He was quite strong when he fully recovered. He had good combat sense. His skills are also diligently grown. He was strong enough to be able to compete with the boss on the second floor in a one-to-one match. Too strong, damn it. Beginner monsters on the first floor, lower on the second floor, and intermediate on the third. It's not a joke. Even the best hunters may not be able to keep up with the sudden increase in difficulty. It's good. You can get stronger faster. Were you a mercenary of the war state when you were human? I didn't answer him and headed back to the aisle. The only conversation I need to have with him is the one where he answers my two questions. He sighed, but I didn't care. Only, it was on that afternoon that I heard the voice of who seemed to be their guild master. I think he found the staircase. It's a ridiculous probability, but it's the only possible way he got out. So, what should we do? Defeat the boss and follow him to the third floor. The moment I heard it, I moved. To the second floor, not on the third floor. Soon, they will find him and kill him. I cannot keep waiting anymore. Chapter 46. Monster Heart 3. Monster Heart 3. Occasionally, the rule I set felt frustrating. It feels as if I was wrapped in a few layers of thick chains. It was the rule that I would never kill and eat humans who were not hostile to me. Even though these people in front of me were obviously wicked, I could not kill them out of spite. I can't take action until I see how they would behave against me. How stupid, pathetic, and even hypocritical. Nevertheless, it had to be followed. To protect what little humanity I have left. To prove that I was once human. The thick shackles that bind me are the same armor that protects me. I moved as aggressively as I could, without breaking the rules. "What is this?" a man asked upon seeing a trap form right before his eyes. The man was in his late 30s. Based on their conversations, he appears to be the guild master of the Phoenix Hunters, who were leading the men inside the dungeon. The trap made of wolf skin, bones, and mane hair formed on the wall. "Go back. I am protecting the fallen." Huh. He read the sentence aloud. The trap I made was a board made of leather, supported by bones. Mane hair formed the words on it. It was a warning letter. I was able to perform this feat with the lunatic trickster, which can create traps out of desired material in the desired place. Seems like he found himself a partner. The man laughed gruesomely. Yeah, it's all thanks to his accomplice that he had been able to escape us so far. Probably one who has explored this dungeon. Someone who knows the location of the stairs. The guild master decided on it quickly, faster than I thought. Now, they are hiding near us. A greedy smile came to his face. When I came to find a fish I missed, I find another fish waiting with it. Go back? Why would I? There are 2 monster necks on the line. Everyone, raise your senses to the maximum, without any gaps. Find them. Speed is life, so move fast. At his words, 2 things have been released. First, the chain that binds me. Second, the trap that was disguised as a warning letter. The effect of the trap was extremely simple because the time spent on it was minimal and the material was insignificant. Still, it exploded in all directions when I activated it, making the guild members jump in terror. It's dangerous. No, there must be more. Prepare yourselves. Guild members surrounded the guild master to protect him from the explosion. The guild master also raised a large shield in front of him. The next moment, I threw 2 daggers with the power of martial arts and black lightning. The grudge fang I threw bounced off the shield, but the impact was too strong that it struck the shield off the man's hands. At the same time, the guild master raised his sword to block the poison fang. However, I threw those daggers with all my strength. The power they contained is enormous. He dropped his sword, and the poison fang bit his throat deep. Look out! He's close! The guild members panicked. I appeared behind the guild master's back and cut off his neck. It was a neat finish. The guild members responded too late. It wasn't until they were sprayed by their leader's blood that they turned around and realized that their guild master's head wasn't attached to his neck anymore. Then, they noticed the giant monster casting a shadow over them. Ugh! That guy! Oh my God, a bugbear! I grabbed the head of the guild master and lifted it in the air. He had a stupid expression on. It was as if he didn't notice that his head was cut off. I placed his head and body in the inventory. You gained 140,500 experience. You acquired 380 gold, 14 silver, 55 bronze. Randomly acquired 3 items from the target's inventory. As I evolved to Bugbear, my inventory was 5 by 5 or 25 squares. Except for various material items that overlap in one space, it is almost empty. Even after placing the body of the man along with the items obtained from him, there are a lot more spaces left open. Everyone in the space tried to stab me with their swords, knives, and spears, but with surprise and fairy tale, I disappeared in front of them. The weapons and magic attacks they used caught air. Shit! He's still here. Protect each other. Damn it! What are these sensing abilities doing? All guild members must convene here. He's stronger than the fallen we're chasing. Their leader is dead, but the next man grabbed his baton. Is this the difference between humans and monsters? It was admirable, but not enough to change my actions. Why have I observed them these past few days? To understand them thoroughly. To see what factors could harm me and how to avoid them. How I would move against them if I'll have to kill them all. In the midst of training surprise and fairy tale, I was creating a solid plan for several days. I considered all the variables that I can think of with my ignorant head. In fact, I thought I wasn't so ignorant anymore. It was favorable for me that the 100 members weren't all in one place. Seemed so easy. It's because they were weak. They won't be able to catch intermediate monsters on their own. Nerds who don't even know how to hide themselves because they think they are safe in their groups. Sensing and detection are not options that should be operated at will. It should be a priority, a habit. It's certainly a great idea to create a division of labor if one can't do everything alone. But their unorganized operation only puts their group in ruins. The result of combining the abilities of all the units could not exceed my individual abilities. Okay. Did anyone get him? No. His stealth powers are surpassing our senses. Go on. We have to catch him. I did not move. Moving now would be foolish. It was like approaching a hedgehog with its spikes raised. No matter how much they searched through the second floor, they would not be able to find me. After a few moments, I moved away from the members gathered and into the safe passage. They still have a chance, I whispered to myself, because only their guild master turned hostile to me. With their leader dead, the group could go two ways. One is to leave the dungeon. The other is to form a new group and continue hunting. The first option would be giving up two monsters. The second option will get them all killed. I didn't intend to kill all of them. It may be because I pity them a little, but also because the fallen they killed were friends of Li Chanyu, not mine. I won't touch them if they retreat. There is no need. Only the guild masters will make them try to kill me. If Li Chanyu wants to take revenge, I will let him do whatever he wants. But this is good. We can put a Bugbear's body on auction. Exactly. It's not an ordinary intermediate monster. What's more, the corpses of the fallen are of superior quality, so necromancers will definitely try to buy his organs. Ha, you assholes! Our opponents are fallen. We have to kill them first. The members of the group were no different from their leader. Oh my god! I should have bought a whisper artifact. Call all the guild members. Be careful. He's still around. Even if the head of the herd changed, there is no change in their behavior. Then what I have to do remains the same. The ebon heart is throbbing and beating violently. Took me long enough to make a decision, but it found the decision welcome. It vigorously pumped blood through my body, raising my magical power and strengthening my muscles. It was foolish to think that not all members of their group were evil. They were rotten from the roots. It was foolish to think that the rest would change once their leader is dead. Their weak minds were denied reason and emotion, or perhaps they are moving in a very logical way in this new world. They may be doing the right thing and I was the one in the wrong. Then it meant that the world has gone crazy. If so, wouldn't I have to act on them? I'm sorry, Li Chanyu. There would be no one left for him to take revenge on. I assimilated in the darkness of the dungeon, marking the location of all living creatures that are moving on the second floor, and cutting their heads off whenever possible. You gained 120,079 experience. You acquired 43 gold and 29 silver. Randomly acquired 3 items from the target's inventory. You gained 109,580 experience. You acquired 29 gold, 10 silver, 90 bronze. Randomly acquired 3 items from the target's inventory. Intermediate fairy tale has become LV9. I first dealt with the ones who have strayed from the group. The disappearance of 3 or fewer members at a time would not be noticed immediately. Although the passages on the second floor are wide, 100 people could not gather in one spot at once. They would have to separate to different teams. Moreover, their enemies were not only me but also wolves and spiders guarding the second floor. The small skirmishes caused the group to split further apart. Soon, I was able to pick off about 30 of the guild members who were moving to merge with the main group. My level has risen twice. I am stronger, and I made a lot of money. I also had items that were randomly acquired. They also have a lot of equipment which I stripped off and set aside. If I couldn't use them on myself, they would be consumed as materials for Lunatic Trickster. Soon, the guild members have all convened, and they noticed that they were a lot fewer than before. Unbelievable. Are we the only ones left? Fuck it. He killed all of them? We were wrong. Sir, we need to contact another guild. Don't be stupid. That's just going to increase the casualties. Even if we die, we have to finish it ourselves. Conquer this dungeon to make up for the casualties. The few members who were clearly higher in authority than the others gathered in a huddle. They spoke in whispers, but I could hear them all. It was so pitiful that I had to stop myself from laughing. Everybody, stay alert. In the past, when I was still a goblin, I managed to clear a goblin warrior mass appearance, then defeat the goblin knight that appeared. That's how I got the key to 1F boss room. So, what could have happened if I didn't kill the goblin knight? Or if I lost the key? The boss room key was connected to the secret of the dungeon. I tested my theory a while ago, before I practiced in the dark passage. A mass outbreak occurred in 2F, but I killed them all on the spot and got the key. I thought the key would not appear after just one mass outbreak, but it did. I got the key once more to the 2F boss room. Killing the werewolf king again would be no problem. But I decided to study how the key works further. I tried throwing it away, but I couldn't. It wouldn't disappear. I tried to place it inside the inventory, but it popped out after some time. Then I wondered, what if I melt the key with flame magic to get rid of it? What would happen? But right after that thought, my ebon heart started beating like crazy. That's when I knew it was dangerous to mess with the key. I found a werewolf and threw the key at it, which it took and ran away with. That was it. Now, I have the key to the boss room again from killing the guildmaster. With the power of advanced detection, I can now read the information on objects with a lower level than my skill level. Black Palace District 7-2F boss room key. A key that allows you to meet the gatekeeper of 2F. Destroying this will bring anger to all residents of 2F. It's a simple explanation, but not everyone can read this information. I laughed. Then I reached my hand out of the darkness. It's the monster. Arrows, daggers, and magic flew toward me at once. However, there was something more powerful, more threatening than the deluge of their attacks. I threw the key against the weapons and energy that were approaching me. Then it got destroyed, exploding violently. They didn't understand what happened. However, the next moment, the dungeon shook with violent vibrations, and monster screams could be heard from all directions. Oh no, this is crazy. Only, we're all going to die. The vibration of the dungeon was getting worse. Unfortunately, I spoke in front of them. You are the only ones who will die. The wolves howling and the sound of spider legs scratching the ceilings filled the space, getting louder and louder each second. It made me smile. The dungeon's fury began. Chapter 47. Monster Heart 4. Monster Heart 4. This was not the dungeon I knew. It was as if the entire 2F had gained life. The walls pulsed, and the floor trembled, as if in anger. The passages of the dungeon gradually widened. The ceilings are elevated, and the floors are cracked. It seemed that 2F was transforming into a different space. Upon detecting the change, some of the humans screamed with agitation. Shit, we can't stand it with our numbers. That devil. Find an escape route. Find it. As I listened to their insults, I wanted to ask them, who are you talking to? Who made me this way? But I didn't answer. These people would soon pay for their sins. The first flock that arrived was the werewolves and the battle spiders. The ground continued to vibrate as a result of werewolves' dash, and the ceiling turned dark as it was covered with battle spiders. The passage was filled with monsters, and behind them were more monsters, waiting for their turn. Maybe the dungeon itself has changed. The number of monsters coming in seems to be 2,000. A crowd so used that the end could not be seen. I was wondering where in the dungeon have they been hiding. No, probably more than half of them have just spawned. Their appearance was also changed. At first glance, I thought they were a superior species that I didn't know. The werewolves were larger, and their mane was red. The battle spiders have weird growths on their 8 legs. They have red eyes in common. They look as if they came from a nightmare. Crazy. Damn it. I appeared in front of their sweaty faces. Enjoy. Then, with surprise and fairy tale, I disappeared before their eyes. I turned my presence off and melted into the surroundings. Spiders running down the ceiling. Wolves running on the ground. The dungeon raged against the intruders. I buried myself in all of that. It was a wonderful, exhilarating experience. I dissolved in the midst of a large group of spiders and wolves, who were prepared to destroy anything in their path. Humans saw my image disappear in front of them, while wolves and spiders stepped on the spot I was standing in. My size is huge and occupies a lot of space, even in the larger passage. However, the wolves and spiders didn't notice me at all. Even if they brushed against me, they do not recognize my presence. It was the culmination of the training I have done so far. It was really funny. I was really satisfied. Advanced Surprise has become LV9. If you don't establish a proper achievement, you will not be able to grow to the highest level skill. It was a welcome surprise to see that the skill has grown. I'm only an intermediate monster now, but my skill is almost at the highest level. Apparently, I need to meet a special condition to increase it further. Fuck. Come in. Stick together. Unite. Go slowly. Be careful. I thought about achievements while watching the Phoenix Hunters Guild desperately resisting the army of wolves and spiders. Achievements? I could ask Rain. But again, it's not always good to keep asking him. Besides, the word achievement is not so difficult. Let's worry about this later. There are 71 humans in front of me, surrounded by wolves and spiders all around. They are my enemies, and I cannot yield their lives to the wolves and the spiders. However, my turn has not come yet. As they were gathered together, humans appear to be quite strong. Each one had the ability to kill lower-level monsters. Even if they are surrounded, they moved as a group and killed the monsters one after the other. They were able to withstand quite well thanks to the distribution of labor. Moreover, they have a lot of potions in store. It made a great impression on me. A group that is properly controlled is so strong. I guess it won't look good if I just jumped at them. So I have to watch for now. The strength of the human group. How do I break it down? Probably they can only stand up to the lower species. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Ah, wow. Piercing sounds smashing all hopes reverberated around the dungeon. The humans also noticed it, and their hands began to twist in worry. Oh no! We barely survived. No, damn it. The upper species began to appear. Werewolf elites and battle spider assassins showed up one by one amongst the regular monsters. Faster, stronger, deadlier. I would have to move soon. I slowly lifted Blood Shadow as I watched them pass by me. The Blood Shadow glistens with all the blood flowing in this space. Soon, the first victim fell. It was a warrior. He was unable to anticipate the speed of the werewolf elite and died quickly. I failed to act in time and decided to let the wolves have him. I waited for the next one more alertly. A priest was healing one of its companions when I saw a venomous spider web flying towards him. I quickly jumped in and cut off the man's neck. It happened in sync with the web, so even the spider may have thought he killed him. You gained 90.495 experience. You acquired 19 gold, 20 silver, 21 bronze. Randomly acquired 3 items from the opponent's inventory. I quickly recovered the body and placed it in the inventory. It didn't matter if the spider noticed me. It wasn't going to find me anytime soon. Simultaneous use of surprise and fairy tale is a task that consumes considerable physical strength. That's why stamina supplementation is essential. I took out the bodies in the inventory and consumed it one by one. The fact that it doesn't make me feel sick anymore made me nervous. Is this evidence that I am more a fallen than a human now? You acquired beginner healing magic. I started to move more aggressively, but I couldn't wipe out the humans yet. They are also killing the monsters. I need to wait until all monsters have appeared. There might be something I didn't expect. Break it, retreat. No, it will soon be over. The humans are starting to lose hope against the increasingly strong monsters. They were struggling to survive. Those who looked at lives as XP and items, those who thought of killing me and selling my body. Human beings are like that. They want to take advantage of others' lives but cling on to their own precious life desperately. I am no different. I will do anything I can to survive. So, I have to get stronger, faster. The guild's number was down to less than 30, but the spiders and the wolves' numbers also gradually decreased as the humans devoted their lives to the struggle. The dungeon's capacity seems to have reached its limit. The crowd that seemed to have no end has thinned. Bodies of wolves and spiders were piled in the mountains, and the blood flowing on the ground formed rivers. The heat of madness began to subside. But it was an illusion. In that short break, some more monsters appeared. Ah wow! Kichan, Kiji-I-chan. 4 giant red wolves and 6 giant spiders appeared. The rarest species of 2F. Oh no! It was then that someone in the guild formation broke out. The man jumped out of the group and started running, but was caught immediately by the 8 spider webs shot by a giant spider. Everyone was stunned at the sight. It's an intermediate monster, isn't it? No way. Isn't that the boss? I was a little surprised, too. It seemed to be a lot stronger than the giant spider I knew. It's definitely bigger, and its color is different. If these monsters have grown like this, how much stronger would the boss monster that would appear in the end be? It was fortunate that Phoenix Hunters were in this space right now. I wouldn't have been able to destroy the key by myself. The giant wolves and spiders didn't notice me, too, of course. But in their angry rampage, I may be caught by accident. So, from now on, I am in danger, too. I need to create a more favorable situation for me. I rushed forward. Everyone in this space is my enemy. The monsters prevail, so I need to reduce them. I attacked a giant wolf. The moment he noticed me, he turned and charged. Tried to bite my arm off. I am faster. I used leap and shot 2 daggers at him, increasing my speed with beast charge. The 2 daggers are charged with black lightning and unleash their power upon hitting him. Before his mouth closed, I grabbed his snout with one hand and drove blood shadow down his throat. With flame magic, his own blood turned to flame and burned him. You gained 32,550 experience. You acquired 30 silver. You acquired the Fong of Wrath. The giant wolf collapsed lifelessly. The battle was over in one quick moment. I thought it was a clean finish and collected my 2 daggers. All humans and monsters witnessed it, but it was over in a moment. I was gone once more, and not one species in the space could pinpoint my location. Soon their battle resumed. Break it! Kwawea! The riot of giant wolves and spiders. The struggle of the surviving humans. As everyone was approaching their limits, it finally appeared. The Dark Red-Maned Wolf. Chapter 48. Monster Heart 5. Monster Heart 5. The moment the giant red-maned wolf appeared, the atmosphere on the battlefield changed. The monsters trembled, and the humans seemed to have reached their limit, too. Damn it! I'm sorry, guys. Almost all regular monsters were dead, and the monsters that remained in the passage are powerful. Humans may think they are more likely to survive if they ran away. People who had strong melee abilities were dead, and most of the survivors were the ones from the backline. We need to go, brother. What are you saying? Shut up. The archers, wizards, and priests who had weak defenses were anxious to run. It was obvious that their feet were itching to escape. But it's useless. There are still 3 giant wolves and 2 giant spiders who can easily catch them. They were locked on to the human foes. On the other hand, the red werewolf did not care about them. He has been facing me since the moment he appeared. He knows where I am. Is it an illusion? His red mane seems to pulse with the dungeon. He was sharing the sensation of the entire 2F. Without that, he wouldn't be able to see me. He was absorbing the anger of the entire 2F, and it pulses and radiates in his body. The ebon heart thumped as if waiting for him, but I deliberately ignored it. It's silly to deal with him now. I couldn't fight him until I confirmed that all humans were dead. He didn't like being ignored. Ow, ow! The red-maned wolf cried. At that moment, all the wolves on 2F stopped moving and raised their heads towards him. They couldn't see me, but they rushed in my direction. Damn, it's annoying to deal with them, but it's not difficult. However, my priority is to make sure that humans won't leave the dungeon and escape the monsters. I charged straight at them, stepping on their heads and slashing their throats with blood shadow. Beyond the rising blood mist, I could see the human faces staring in awe and fear. He's a demon. Is that a compliment? I appeared in front of the human who spoke and wielded my sword against him. You gained 139,809 experience. You acquired 38 gold. I would not spare him. Every time I kill humans, I place them inside the inventory. I created traps around humans. Even if the trap's killing power was low, it's enough to hold them in place. Shoo! What's this? Ouch! There's something around our feet. Once I caught them, the spiders took over even if I don't kill the humans myself. The intermediate-level lunatic trickster can create up to 3 traps at once. Every time a trap is triggered, and after confirming that the prey was killed by the spiders, I created new traps. There were always 3 traps as far as my sight could reach. Whether triggered or unsuccessful, I constantly made traps. Sometimes it causes fatal wounds. Equipment items were consumed continuously, as well as mana and stamina. If I need to refill it, the materials around me were overflowing. Level up. Intermediate lunatic trickster has become LV3. The number of humans has declined rapidly. The number of monsters has decreased as well. It was me who led the situation, and Red Werewolf was watching it. It looked like he wanted to rush to me right now. But he didn't. He seems to understand I'm not going to fight him yet. If he tries to, I can avoid him. My agility can match anyone. His stare seems to be a warning, however, that I could never avoid a battle with him eventually. He would obviously attack the moment I finish the humans. He will do it when I least expect it. I knew. I'm not stupid. I have been preparing all this time. He knows my abilities if he is the 2FS monster form. He would have seen them. I am not sure of his speed and power. Perhaps he is as strong as all of 2F. From the moment he showed up, he already found my position. That's why it would be hard to beat him. It will be a very tedious battle. It may be dangerous. So how will I do it? Simple. Use an ability that has never been used in 2F. Kong Siha, Fate. Bugbear LV68. Strength, 539 stamina, 468 magic, 336 luck dash. Skill Ebon Heart, Predation LV4, Advanced Martial Arts LV2, Intermediate Lunatic Trickster LV3, Intermediate Armor Defense LV5, Intermediate Regeneration LV6, Intermediate Flame Magic LV3, Intermediate Power Attack LV4, Intermediate Black LV9, Intermediate Leap LV1, Advanced Detection LV4, Advanced Surprise LV9, Intermediate Fairy Tale LV9, Intermediate Beast Charge LV6, Intermediate Leadership LV8, Intermediate Immunity LV9, Lower Fantasy Magic LV4, Beginner Healing Magic LV3, Beginner Speed, Attack LV2, Beginner Water Magic LV2. My flagship skills would have been familiar to him. The other skills obtained by killing humans are at the beginner level, so I doubt they would have any effect on him. So what should I use? The sheer strength of a power attack may not be enough if I can't land it. Do I have a skill that could bait him to his death? There is. A high-level skill that has never been used in 2F. Just as he was planning to drive his claws into my heart, I have been planning the moment I would pierce his heart with my sword. Still, my legs and sword did not rest. I have to sort out everything else before I face him. Finally, down to the last human. Monster! The human screamed at me. He couldn't find my position, so he was just crying out desperately. He's the last one. More than 100 humans died. How long do you think could be hiding here? There will be rumors that our guild disappeared in this dungeon. Then other guilds will come in. You are over. Kia! I pierced blood shadow through the head of a giant spider who was trying to shoot a spider web at the human. He's the last giant spider in this space. Yes, maybe one day more would come. I agreed. Take this. The human tried to wield a magic wand to the source of my voice, but before he could, several iron bars pierced him from the ground. It was a trap created from the spears of the other Phoenix Hunters members. Arg! Melee users could have dodged that, but wizards and priests were ridiculously weak against traps. His wand fell off his arm and rolled on the floor. He screamed with a pained expression. You are over. You are over. I'm very curious who between the two of us is over. I cut his head off. You gained 125,091 experience. Level up. All the rare monsters are dead. All the humans are dead. There is only one remaining. The red werewolf was rushing to me, without a sound, as if it had been waiting for this moment. It was aiming its sharp nails for my heart. It was so fast that he appeared to be a red flash. His nails flashed in the dark. It was inevitable. It was an attack that considered all my possible moves. Could not be avoided. At the same time, my preparation is also finished. Kai-ap! His claws pierced something. The sound of breaking metal and tearing flesh and bones rang throughout the quiet passage. Subsequently, a huge amount of blood was sprayed in the air. Ki. Then, A metal bar was activated to restrain his legs. Lower fantasy magic has become LV5. It was a trap that was designed to capture him after he attacks the human body covered in armor. He mistook the human body for me. It was the result of a combination of lunatic trickster and fantasy magic. The fantasy magic was still at the lower level, so I was anxious if it would be able to trick the enemy properly. But I saw him rush to the body, smashing through it, as if he was killing me. He didn't know about this skill. I appeared behind his back and stabbed his heart with the blood shadow immediately. His thick red mane entangled my sword and tried to slow it down, but flame magic and black lightning burned it all off, and the sword pierced through. Kihik! The red werewolf struggled and vomited blood. The werewolf king, wearing the Pelcadia jewel, died immediately after his heart has been pierced, but this one didn't. Even though his heart was pierced, the red werewolf struggled persistently until he pulled its legs out of the trap. Ki! His force was so powerful. The next moment, his body was starting to heal. Ki! Ki! The red werewolf stared at me with a deadly glare, but I poured all my mana on the sword that still pierced his heart. As he took in a full-charged black lightning and flame magic, he vomited a brilliant flame. It was rather dazzling. You gained 187,204 experience. You acquired 5 gold. You obtained the Cursed Fong. You obtained the Blood Fong. A few alerts popped up as I pulled out Blood Shadow. The red werewolf's body crashed to the ground. Then silence came to the dungeon. Who? When I raised my head, I saw the piles of human bodies and monster bodies everywhere. The dungeon quieted down, and the widened passageways and high ceilings slowly returned to their place. Only, it is finished. Everyone is dead. Of course, I knew I could do it, but it was still surprising. Every day I will face in the future will be like this. There is no way for me to survive without killing. From the moment I open my eyes as a monster, it has been decided. I should keep getting stronger. Otherwise, it is me who will die next time. I closed my eyes to shake off the past and greet the future. My present was full of determination. I will enjoy this food. Chapter 49. Garden of Nak 1. Garden of Nak 1. I consumed everything, except for corpses that won't help me grow in stats or skills. Unlike before, I have a lot of skills that consume stamina and magic, so while eating, I continue to use skills and magic with my other hand. Strength has increased by 1. Intermediate beast charge has become LV7. I saved the red-maned wolf for last. His meat was a taste worth putting off. Whenever I take a bite, I remembered the guy's gaze at me, and my body convulsed. I should never touch the key on the 3rd floor. The only reason I survived was that the monsters on the 2nd floor were low-ranking ones. It has still been dangerous, though. It was a tool used for wiping out the Phoenix Hunters, but I should never use it again in the future. I had to keep that fact firmly in my heart. Then, I set out on what to do next. There's nothing else to do but clear the loot. The material items and potions obtained overlap in single cells inside my inventory, so it was not a burden. The problem is the equipment items. Swords, staffs, armors, cloaks, and robes of nearly hundreds. It was also a job to retrieve those from piles of monsters. I couldn't think about carrying so many items. Of the hundreds of equipment, only a few of them look useful. Most of them were labeled as normal rarity, and their quality was poor. This proved one thing. The Phoenix Hunters are not such a great guild. And I couldn't even handle such a guild on my own, and had to arouse the dungeon's anger to clear them. There will be more people and guilds outside who were much stronger than them. I bluffed to the Phoenix Hunters as if I could stop anyone anytime, but that didn't make any sense. I was only an intermediate monster. He's right. Humans are not going to leave this dungeon alone forever. Time wasn't on my side. I have to move faster to survive. I have to bring everything I have to the highest level. I slapped myself on the cheeks to wake up and proceed with organizing the items. I used the normal items on the spot as materials for Lunatic Trickster, creating useless traps to improve my skill level. 3 traps continued to pop up and disappear on the spot. The higher the value of the consumed goods, the faster the skill training level rises. Eventually, the skill level rose by 1, and it became intermediate LV4. After completing the process, only the rare items were left. Of course, they were not as good as my equipment, so I decided to put them in my inventory first. There was also a unique grade item. It was stockings made of red cloth. Izelix leggings. 178/320. Rareness, unique. Increases movement-based skills by 20%. Because it is made of cloth, it was a very good item that could be worn as padding inside the blood iron armor. I wore it right away. What was more enjoyable to loot was the equipment obtained from the monsters. Previously, I have obtained a grudge fang after killing a giant wolf. At that time, my detection skill has not reached the advanced level, so I could not check the ability of the dagger. Now that it has reached the advanced level, I assessed it and learned that it was a good attack power of a rare level. Grudge fang, 152-209. Attack power 135. Rareness, rare. Amplifies magic power by 50%. When using a skill with this dagger, attack power increases by 30%. Similar to the pink fangs, such a weapon was efficient to be used as a subweapon. Until now, I have only been curious about how it came from a giant wolf. But today I got 3 daggers which were all called fangs. Fangs of Fury from the red giant wolf, and Cursed and Blood Fang from the red-maned werewolf. After sorting out the equipment obtained from Phoenix Hunters, I assessed the fangs I obtained, and the results surprised me. Fang of Fury, 230/230. Attack 140. Rarity, rare. Increases attack power by 50% when thrown. When held in Berserker's hand, attack power increases by an additional 50%. Cursed Fangs, 255/255. Attack power 160. Rarity, rare. When hitting the opponent's vital spot, attack power increases by 50%, and an additional random curse is applied. Blood Fang, 350/350. Attack power 210. Rarity, unique. Attack power increases temporarily as it gets wet with blood. It increases to a maximum of 150%, and the effect disappears when the battle is over. Fang of Fury and Cursed Fangs were weapons of great power that were equal or even better than Grudge Fang or Pink Fang. But the Blood Fang was greater than all of them. Unique. This was the first unique weapon I obtained from a monster. Moreover, the option was simple but incredible. Being able to increase the damage of a weapon to 500 during combat was such a great option that it made me wonder if I should throw away Blood Shadow and carry Blood Fangs instead. However, Blood Shadow has a growth ability, the excellent skill of Blood Flames, and furthermore, it had the advantage of its size and length against the Blood Fang. So, right now, like the other fangs, the Blood Fang has to stay on my thighs quietly. In the future, if I combine Blood Shadow with Blood Fang, it will create a very good weapon. With that, all the items were finally organized. I stood up. Now, there is nothing to do on the second floor. All those who threatened me are dead. No traces were left. The promise to Li Chanyu was fulfilled. It's time for him to make good on his promise. Are you here? Fate. He was staying at the entrance of the 3rd floor as he told me. He caught a monster similar to a scorpion. He was munching on it as he looked at me and waved his hand. Thank you so much. I've recovered some energy now. That's a good thing, right? So, he seemed to hesitate a little. But soon he threw the scorpion's tail on the floor and told me, Fate, you've kept your promise to me. I think it's time for me to pay you. How did you know? I was puzzled. However, Li Chanyu seemed even more confused. How did I know? That I kept my promise with you? You saved my life. I pointed to the 2nd floor above us. I killed all the Phoenix Hunters. What are you talking about now? Oh, so he was talking about when I saved his life and escaped with him, not when I killed the guild members that chased him. You killed them all? You alone versus over 100 guys? Yes. I had the 2F key destroyed and aroused the dungeon's anger, but it was not necessary to explain it all to him. Are you lying? I don't want to doubt your words, but no matter how strong you are, you can't kill more than 100 humans and stay untouched like that. Li Chanyu did not understand the specifics of my equipment and skills, so it was natural for him to react like this. Any wounds I sustain can be healed by predation unless they are fatal. In addition, after the battle is over, all the intestines, flesh, and blood that clung to my armor and weapons are either eaten off or absorbed by my armor and weapon. In other words, even after a battle, I maintain my appearance. If you are in doubt, you can go up and check. All the humans who entered this dungeon are dead. I told him. The power of the Phoenix Hunters. All 117 people, including the guild master, entered this dungeon. Yes. There are exactly 117 humans I have confirmed to be dead. I paid enough attention to this, even to the point of neglecting the red-maned werewolf. I made sure no human escaped this dungeon. Everyone is dead. Most of them were killed by my hands. The rest were killed by monsters. With this, the dungeon is safe from humans for a little while. Not much. In the end, time is running out. That is why it is necessary to learn. How can I hide my identity? So even if I encounter humans, I can avoid getting noticed as a fallen. How? But it seems difficult to learn it right now. Thank you. Damn it. Thank you. I left Li Chanyu, who broke down with emotions. I went around 3F, testing my weapons against intermediate monsters. It was so easy and effortless that I am of a mind to break through quickly and go to the 4th floor. When I returned from hunting and predation, he seemed to have come to his senses. He was in a werewolf form, so I could not read his expression. It's not over yet, he said. They said there was an informant who gave out the location of where the fallen were located. Okay. Had he shaken off all his sadness? Now his eyes were shining cold. I was convinced that he would one day find the informant and deal with him. Then it's really my turn now. Yes, how a fallen could avoid being detected. And how the world is right now. The latter is something you can find out just by going outside. So let's first talk about how to avoid being noticed as a fallen person. I rather wonder why you don't know this. He tilted his head. There are items given by the manager to the fallen players who advance to the finals in the arena. If you use those items, you won't be caught by proof of mine. It was a harsh system, and only the strongest ones could take the reward. But you really don't know this? Well, a completely unknown story popped up. What is that reaction? He asked me. What? You know that? I'm talking about the arena where anyone can go to level 50? His eyes became strange. I wondered if I can bluff my ignorance, but soon gave up. Because he has already noticed. Not only he's a skilled hunter, but also a smart one. It seems like there are more things I have to explain to you. I think so. I will tell you in advance. Yes, I'll keep it a secret. I know what you mean, he said with a bloody smile. I won't tell anyone. I already said because I was all in, boss. Boss? The moment I tried to ask him, a notification window appeared in front of me. Failed to activate command skill. Could not take the load. In order to be handed down, you must unseal the castle. 1. Conquer the 6th floor of Jinma's Tower. 2. Win the 5th game in the Garden of Nak. 3. 2. Rot. Is my power not enough? I only looked pathetic, but I would be very helpful to you. Trust me. I will pay you back for what you gave me and more. There were a lot of things I wanted to tell him, that I would not take him as a subordinate, or that he is still weak, or ask me again in the future. Only, rejected, accepted, put on hold, whatever. However, the notification windows that popped up successively made me dizzy, and I sat down, feeling some kind of weakness. I nodded at Li Chanyu, who was burning with a new passion for life. Yeah, go ahead and talk about it. About Fallen and the arena. Yes. You don't look energetic? Are you okay? Perhaps. Today, I have come to realize that I am different from the normal Fallen. There is still a lot left to know. Chapter 50. The Garden of Nak, 2. End of Volume 2. The Fallen are a result of the Great Integration, a process of merging Hater and Earth into one. If a human loses his life at the moment when the Great Integration takes place, that person loses his human body and opens his eyes from the monster's body. It means that you will be a Fallen. I went through the same process. So far, I have been in the same shape as the general Fallen. Why? I don't know. Not much information has been revealed about it, and no one knows, even the Fallen themselves or the humans. So, right after the Great Integration took place, great chaos struck the planet. Most of the Fallen, who opened their eyes to monster bodies, were killed by humans when they tried to revert to human society. People realized that we were once humans like them because we can speak human words, not monster languages. But soon, they didn't care about it. Because of compensation? Yes, because of the rewards. The rewards make it possible to protect yourself in this society. Enormous experience and money. People treated the Fallen as a special monster and slaughtered. It didn't matter to them that the monsters were human inside. Humans thus hunted the Fallen to become stronger. More and more Fallen were killed. In a crazy world, protecting themselves was the top priority. The Fallen are easier to hunt compared to pure monsters, and the rewards were more excellent. We are good prey for them. Society has met a new order. In less than a month, there were numerous conflicts, explosions, and destruction. But nevertheless, humans succeeded in creating a method to survive in a new planet covered with monsters and dungeons. Innumerable businesses and factories were rendered obsolete and soon shut down. Workers were laid off. In order for those who do not have combat skills to live, they have to plow fields now. It's not easy because of the monsters that can appear without any warning. The Fallen. There are a lot of monsters popping up, even not considering the Fallen. The Fallen became an evil that had to be cut off and not mixed with human society. We were blocked and excluded. Then, society has been reorganized around those who had powerful abilities. Many guilds have been created. They started to aim to become stronger in their own way and influence society. They are no different than any other kind of company. What about the government? It exists. It's just that the social structure has changed. But the rich and powerful remained unaffected. The government just became more punitive and blatant when it comes to tax and restrictions. The life of the powerful manipulating human lives. Now, I could understand that the brothers and sisters were driven to the dungeon without proper armor. To live. To survive. It gets a lot worse. New types of precious goods emerged in the reverse society. Gold and artifacts. And the best place to get those too are dungeons. Dungeons became possessions of various influential guilds. They manage dungeons, collect gold, and monopolize good artifacts. Every guild wants to dominate. I think they are preparing for war. Whether it was a war between humans or against monsters, nobody knew. Where is gold used? It seems that humans crave gold. Auction houses, training centers, goods that can only be purchased at stores operated by natives. You need gold for all of them. Now, the value of existing currencies such as $1, yen, and yuan is falling endlessly. Everyone wants gold, the most powerful currency now. Natives. I suddenly thought of Rain and A. Li Chanyu seemed to guess what I was thinking and opened his mouth. Natives. They're the ones who are the complete opposite of the Fallen, he added. The inhabitants of Hader who appeared on Earth in human form after the Great Integration, even though they had no partners on Earth. Isn't that the reverse of us who do not have partners from Hader? Are they strong? Yes, very. Stronger than the strongest people on Earth right now. So they are not hunted. Unlike the Fallen. And they all look beautiful. Unlike us. It's the opposite, as if someone made it that way, right? After we finished speaking, we faced each other and smiled. We were in the form of a terrible evil spirit and a werewolf, so we fully understood how terrifying we look. I laughed. 10,000 emotions contained in one expression. Li Chanyu's words continued. He wanted to talk more about the natives. They want to help humanity. They help them adapt to a changing society, and they themselves want to live with humanity. At least on the surface, it seems like that. What is their position toward the Fallen? They treat us as monsters. It was a simple conclusion. It's also the biggest reason humans can freely hunt Fallen. Natives are more powerful and richer than humans. They have the goods that humanity needs, gold, and artifacts. They treat Fallen as monsters. Thus humans tended to follow their judgment. It must be difficult to judge their intentions. First of all, are natives something to avoid? Proof of mine artifacts has come from these natives. If someone tries to separate humans and fallen in human forms, the intention must be clear. I also asked about other things. Exactly how much the earth has changed. How the outsiders live. How many dungeons are there? All of them were thoroughly engraved in my head. The arena we talked about earlier, that's the only way to meet natives who are friendly to fallen. They gave out items that could block proof of mine to those fallen who can reach the finals. One side has artifacts that can identify a fallen. The other side provides artifacts that can hide a fallen's identity. It is clear that they are in opposite positions. So, in other words, the natives are also divided into two groups. Among them, Rain and A are probably on the side of the fallen. To be precise, on my side. Then, why didn't they tell me that there was a way to hide my identity? If I go there now, will Rain bring it to me as a commodity if I wanted to purchase it? I don't think so, but it's probably not because they want me to die, but because they think I don't need it. Knowing Rain, he tends to overestimate me. As I was troubled by the thoughts of my collaborators, Lee Chanyu finished explaining the artifact. Of course, it doesn't change your appearance. So, it only works for those who can transform into human form like me. I looked at him. His appearance was a werewolf over 2 meters tall, with thick hair all over his body. A human form, I muttered. Sorry, I don't want to go transform back right now. No, I am not asking you to transform. I was just thinking about the way I would evolve in the future. Goblins, hobgoblins, and bugbears. I wondered how much farther should I have to go in the future to evolve into a human-like form. I looked at myself. Black, thick skin, gigantic limbs, an ugly face far from a human's, elongated ears, human-like form? Honestly, it seems absolutely impossible. Then I came up with a question. So, there were others with partners with non-human races such as elves, dwarves, and demons. Ah yes, there were. They are completely missing from your story. Lee Chanyu shrugged and said, they are gone, without a trace. The story seems to be over. After the long talk, Lee Chanyu took out the water he had in his inventory, took a sip and offered it to me. I rejected it and thought about the things I learned and what my next steps would be. And finally, I laughed bitterly when I came to the conclusion that all I had to do was get stronger. But before that, okay, I definitely got both pieces of information that I asked of you. Is it possible for one person to get 2 of those artifacts that hide the fallen? Yes, I have 2 right now. Would you like 1, Captain? Lee Chanyu pulled out something small and shining from his arms and threw it at me, and I caught it without difficulty. It was a small badge. Proof of life, 350/1, 985. Rarity, rare. If you have this, you will be able to evade the magic of the traitors. Maybe someone had it before me. I put the badge in my arms without saying anything about it. Lee Chanyu also said nothing. Thanks. It's nothing compared to what the captain did for me. Yes, and I have something to say about you calling me Captain. What is it? I hesitated a little, but soon I confessed my circumstances honestly. To put it plainly, I need to get stronger very quickly. Even stronger than you are now? I'm only an intermediate monster, but it can't stay that way in the future. His eyes were wide open. He must have grasped the meaning of my words. Lee Chanyu, I am welcome to having colleagues. However, that only applies if you don't slow me down. How about you? Do you want to be stronger? You are talking about evolution now? Yes. Lee Chanyu was worried. But soon, he nodded with determination. Evolution, I heard it was possible. I have only one way to choose anyway. Do it. I will surely survive. Good. Then let's start right now. I drew my sword. I took one glance at the pleased Lee Chanyu, then rushed out of the safe entrance and into 3F. Wait a minute, me too. I am going now too. I heard him scream. Only, I have to catch 100,000 monsters on the 3rd floor. After spending much time dealing with intruders and talking with Lee Chanyu, I have to catch up quickly. From then on, when the clock will turn 5.5 turns, I finally reached level 70. Level up. You can enter the garden of Nak. And a new trial came to me. End of Volume 2. We've reached the end of today's episode. Thank you for traversing the boundless landscapes of fantasy with us. If today's story has sparked joy within you, please remember to hit the like button, share our journey with others, and subscribe to Lord of the Stories for an ever-expanding collection of mystical escapades. Until we meet again to turn the page to a new adventure, hold the tales dear in your heart, and let the embers of magic warmly glow in your spirit. Farewell, intrepid explorers of the narrative unknown.